So, Todd, in a hockey rink, you've not got a team that you're, I suppose, supporting. You've not got a microphone that you're cheering them on with, but you are behind an awful lot of what's happening behind the scenes. How has it been?
I mean, barring the obvious hiccup, the first weekend has been great. The teams have been excellent. The first week was a bit hectic because, this was new to all of us, and we briefed the teams, and we were, going through the protocol for COVID and all, wearing the masks and testing and all that kind of stuff. So before you know what you're going to get into the routine of, you think, man, it's going to be a lot of work in the mornings, making sure that everyone's. But it's become such a second nature, such a routine for all the guys. It's really, we got it down to a science now, and it's running pretty smoothly from the back end of back end of things. And we're here in the morning, we're here early, and we're here late. But it's a lot of fun, and it's great watching hockey. It's kind of weird, like I get lost because I'll be in the stands and it'll be me and 4 other people watching the game live, but. I'm enjoying myself, that's for sure.
Does it almost feel a little bit privileged in that respect? The fact that you sat here in an 8,000 seat arena and it's you and just a handful of other people.
It's weird. You forget that no fans are here. And I talked to the players and they said that, it's weird because once you get into it, you forget that no fans are here until there's a goal or something, and then you can hear them all celebrating like it's a peewee tournament or something. You can hear the 5 people on the ice, but. That's the part that you really miss. You miss the roar of the crowd. As a player and as a team coming into the Motor Point Arena in Nottingham, it's an intimidating place to play. So it's kind of nice not have that coming in here and having to play in front of Panthers fans. But yeah, you miss the fans for sure.
What do you think that the league's learnt here? Because this is one of those experiences that you're going to go through. You know that you've used this as a playoff venue, for example. Have you learnt anything out of the process over the last couple of weeks that you're going to take forward either in Cardiff or league-wide?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of elements of, from the organizational standpoint, it's worth noting how hard people have worked to put this on. It took a lot to get the support from DCMS and Sport England to put this on. I think the English teams had to go back to Sport England 2 or 3 times to really get it across the line. And then from there, it's been a lot of work. Mike Hicks, head of hockey operations, has done a ton of work in the background, as have all the teams. And it's interesting seeing how hard even the coaches, all the stuff that they're doing besides coaching to make sure that this thing has happened. And then you see coaches hauling hockey bags around with equipment managers and setting up rooms, but when it gets right down to it, they're having a ball. They're having to see the coaches on the ice the first couple of days. They were all excited to be back. They were like they were like kids again, and all the guys, seeing them out there. And for me, I tend to watch my guys. Like I tend to watch the guys that have been in Cardiff with me and sort of cheer them on. I found myself rooting for Duggan there the other night in Coventry, and I'm like, I feel like a dad watching this kid play. I'm like, come on, Dougie, get out there, throw the body around. So I got to remember that I'm neutral here. So, but that's from the organizational standpoint. What I'll take back, I think it's good to learn all these COVID regulations. If we do have to put something in place in all the arenas, it's not nearly as bad as I thought. Once you get going, you kind of get used to it. You get used to wearing your face masks and social distancing and making sure that people, the teams come in the arena at different times, and all that stuff that we thought would be a hassle has become second nature now. So,
and I suppose for the Elite League, so often it's very tribal, isn't it? Even within that boardroom, it's tribal at times, with people having different agendas to look after their own business. This shows, though, that can actually be put aside for the greater good, not just of the Elite League and those individual teams, but actually for the sport as a whole.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think everyone's had to work a lot closer. And what I would say, the last 12 months, the board, the teams have worked closer than ever. And I think you kind of have some empathy for each other, knowing what everyone's going through, and we're all kind of pulling together and going through this together. And we talk pretty much every week on Zoom. We're probably getting sick of seeing each other's faces, but it's actually, I think it's actually really efficient, because in the past we've, once a month we kind of save everything for a monthly board meeting, and now we've realized, wow, we can actually stay in touch better on Zoom than we probably can on a monthly board meeting, and it's probably more efficient the way we can run things, which is great for all of us. But yeah, I think everyone's kind of pulled together. It's the one thing I would say is for the teams not involved, like the more I watch, I'm like, God, I wish we were here. I wish we could play. And my coach, my new coach, Jared Scaldi, I talk to him on most days or a couple times a week, and he said, he's watching the games just going, oh man, I just wish I could be there. He was like, maybe I could be one of the guys assistant coaches for there. And that's like, well, we'll save things. We'll save to introduce you to the fans until the proper time. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we're envious, I guess, of that. I'm really fortunate that I get to be involved with this. I'm grateful that the teams involved wanted someone kind of neutral to oversee things, and that's kind of where I fell into it. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be doing this. So.
What have you made of the fans' response?
Well, I mean, most of it's been pretty interesting. Like I think it's I mean, fans are fans. I think they're, like you said, they're tribal, right? And the thing that I found interesting, when lockdown started, everyone was so nice to each other on social media.
Yeah.
That went out the window pretty quick, and I think fans are back to being fans, which is great, and I love it, and I love, I think you realize how important social media is and the communication that teams have, especially with the fans. This has really shown that. I think, I got to tip my hat to Luke Fisher, the media guy, media manager for the league. He's done a tremendous job of the output that we have coming out of here, social media wise, with interviews, daily interviews, all the coaches' interviews, everything he's done, and it's it's kind of a one-man job, so he's doing a really good job with that, and all the teams have bought in, like just the output on all 4 teams' websites and on their social media accounts. It's been really good, and the fans' response has been fantastic. I mean, I don't want to get into the figures of how many people are watching, but it's in the thousands, which is fantastic, and it's probably a better response than we even anticipated. Yeah. We knew our fans were hungry for hockey, and I'm glad to see how hungry they are, and it gives you, I guess it fills you with confidence going back when we eventually get back on the ice and we eventually get fans back in the buildings. A year ago, I think we were all kind of worried, are people going to come back with the threat of COVID and social distancing and masks? But now I feel like it's been a year and people are just, they want to get back to normalcy. They want to get back to going to, and not just hockey. I mean, I always say to people, like, find your hockey. When I talk to other people, hockey might not be your thing. Maybe rugby is, maybe football is, maybe the arts are, maybe going to movies, maybe going to the theater. We all have our thing that we kind of work around the clock for, and this is what I keep telling people, like, we're the fun part. The fun part has to come back. We can't all work from home and go and skip the pub and buy our beer at Tesco or Sainsbury and come back. Like, we can't live in our house in front of a computer for the rest of our lives. We got to get out there, and luckily we get to be the fun part. So and I want to be the fun part. I want people to come back to ice hockey and to football matches and to rugby and to basketball and to the arts, and that's why you go to work every day, so you can enjoy the other stuff, and hopefully we're getting back to some normalcy, and it feels like we're getting closer. So
September, big time, isn't it? Where all of us are hoping that this building and all the rest of them are around the Elite League are going to be full, and we're going to see basically rinks start to come back again, and teams will start to come back. What do you think you've got to see in terms of government intervention with arena sizes, or crowd sizes, should I say, for that to happen? Is there a number in your mind right now that's like, we need a go number, or do you think maybe you still might need to be more creative, and there's a desire around that boardroom table to be more creative?
I think the big thing for us is, we have venues that are all different sizes, right? So, if the government or whatever, if they said you could have 60% capacity at all venues, does that work for me in Cardiff? Not really, because 60% isn't really enough to kind of make it work financially. It would work in a bigger arena like Sheffield or Nottingham or Belfast. So we have to figure out, how we would work. Would there be government support if we could only go, a certain percentage capacity, or is it something where we think, okay, well, instead of a September start, let's start in October. Who knows, right? I think nothing is off the table. Nothing's on the table yet, but nothing's off the table. I think we're looking at all potential opportunities and potential scenarios on when we start and how we start. And you know what, I think a year ago, a lot of leagues around Europe were looking at the Elite League going, man, you guys are crazy for not playing, because we're all getting government support, and it's going to be a couple months and things will be back to normal. And we took basically thought with our finance hat on, we can't play until we know what's going on. And thank God, because I think some of us would be out of business if we had started and waited for government support. So, but we're lucky we all got some government support now to make sure that we could do this, and also to survive the year that was, and fingers crossed we start up in September, or late September, and we're good to go.
And that's really exciting, the thought of all the teams being back. Just finally, I want to talk about what's been going on the ice behind us. Different standard. different kinds of players that are playing, different styles that teams have played as well.
Yeah.
It's been blooming entertaining,
Yeah, it's
though,
been
hasn't
fun.
it?
It's definitely run and gun. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say defense was a top priority on any of the coaches' game plan, but yeah, it's been fun to watch. And I think as a fan first, I think it's been a great opportunity to see some of the young British talent that we're always wondering where's the next crew of British players coming through, right? And we never really have an opportunity to see some of these young guys play. And I think this is that opportunity. And there's also an opportunity for guys that already play in the elite league that maybe don't get the ice time that they can showcase themselves with, to showcase themselves out here. And so for me, it's been fun to see that. It's like there's a couple players that I really like that I think are young and not on my team right now, but or ever. I'm not trying to foreshadow anything.
Ever until September.
But I like Hazeldine or Hazeldine. I don't know how you say Hazeldine.
Joe Hazeldine.
Yeah, I like him, and I think that's a great pickup by Manchester. I think a sneaky one.
Great pickup.
No, yeah, that's my line. Hey, I can't get away from it. But yeah, I think that was smart of Finner whenever he signed him. But I was kind of shocked because I know he was with Nottingham before. But he's been playing really well. And Sam, who's the Sheffield defenseman, the guy from Fife, Sam Jones.
Sam Jones, yeah.
Another great pickup to use my line. But yeah, really impressed with him. Obviously, seeing Liam Kirk back, what a player he is.
What's he done? He went away as a sort of 17, 18-year-old.
Yeah.
He comes back now as a 21-year-old. What's the difference from a hockey IQ perspective, from a hockey perspective, when you analyze players? What do you see is different?
His shot. He's got. I always use this scenario, like every player that plays pro has an NHL something, right? Might be NHL speed, might be NHL smarts. He has an NHL shot, and maybe NHL speed right now. I myself had an NHL nickname. That's all I had. But yeah.
And an NHL story to go with that nickname.
There you go. That's a whole different broadcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think he's really improved. It's been fun to watch him. You didn't see much of when he was his draft year when he was playing for Sheffield. He was this young raw talent, and it was all speculative. But then, because he was in our league, I think all of us followed his career very closely. And I for sure, anytime there were Peterborough highlights online, I'd be watching them, and obviously Rob Wilson coaching him has been an interesting scenario. But yeah, he's really developed. His numbers that he put up in the OHL are really impressive. I hope he gets a chance. I'm not just selfishly because I don't want him to be playing in Sheffield. I do hope he gets a chance in North America to continue his career, because I think he's got a shot at something. He's a really special talent. It's fun to watch, and his speed is tremendous. He's really improved. He's obviously stronger, but there's times out here in this I'm like, he's toying with these guys. He's doing things that players don't do at this level right now. And also Olden, he's playing with Olden and Connolly. That's a great line, probably the best line in this tournament right now. And that Olden's a special talent as well. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of scenarios. That I think of. There's I can think of every team. There's different scenarios that I could talk about. Like I really like Forbes in Coventry playing.
Yeah.
He's playing D now.
Yeah,
he's doing great. Like this might be he might convert to a D man now. I think of when Mark Richardson converted to a D man about the same age as him, and he looks really he looks calm back there. So I think we're getting told to cut off.
Yeah, well, it's typical with me and you, right?
Yeah.
No phone calls, no interviews that ever last much less than half an hour. Todd, thank you. Good job that you're enjoying this. Good job that things are going well here in Nottingham as this series continues. And fingers crossed we'll be able to talk to Todd at some point about what's going on in Cardiff and what they're going to be able to do come, hopefully, the new season, September, October time later this year.